Hello, good afternoon, teacher. Let me explain you what I have been researching. First of all, just let me clarify that I'm going to be turning a little bit to my computer because it's impossible to know everything and remember everything. I have here the important points, so I just would like to turn a little bit, remember the point, and then I'm going to explain by myself. Okay, first of all, I'm going to explain the four English skills that are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. These four skills are divided into main roots. The first one are the productive skills. The productive skills are those ones which, as the name says, we generate language. And the receptive skills are those ones in which we receive, obviously, the language. Yeah, we receive the language through the environment. Now, it's important to say that listening and speaking, no, sorry, speaking and writing are the productive ones, or the productive skills, and receptive skills are reading and listening. Okay? Well, first of all, I would like to define like these skills, like the capabilities or the abilities in which us as human beings are able to comprehend or to generate an idea about the language and obviously speak it. But first of all, let me start describing a little details that I found about these skills. First of all, we have a speaking skill, and speaking skills we need to understand that the main purpose is communicative. So we are going to transmit feelings, emotions, sensations through the language. Yes, that is like one of the main purposes, to be communicative. Then we have the some example, for example, of this will be verbal reporting, reading, an interview, because the intention is to generate like a transition of information. Yes, to transmit your knowledges through verbal communication. Yes, obviously with a meaning. And we achieve the prompt function of sounds. I mean, we need to use vocal. Okay, well, as I was saying, also we have like achieves in this function that is to produce a sound. Yes, if it's speaking skills, the main or final goal would be to produce something verbally. And for this, it's important to understand that we use our vocal tract and brain to be possible to do this. Okay, and this skill is also known as a second natural language because first we listen and then we start to producing. Okay, well, then we continue with listening skill, in which listening is the perception about the information that comes from the environment. Yes, so you receive information and interpret that information. Yes, in this case, to process and have idea or meaning about the context. Well, it's important to mention that this is a receptive skill. So we mentioned the receptive skills are those ones, sorry, that we perceive from the environment. Yes, it's the information that comes from the outside to the inside to process it and think about it. Well, receptive skill in this case could be, in our case, is the second language or the L2, because we need to develop this skill learning it rather than acquire it, because in the United States they born with this language and they acquire it like a natural way, but we have to, in this case, process information and we have to learn it, or at the beginning first memorize information. Well, then we have some things that we can do to improve and get better this skill. Maybe using drills like choral repetition, maybe listening tracks. Also, we can foster in our students to read aloud, and when they read aloud and the others listen to the partner, they can develop their skills. Yes, because they are like realizing how they should speak or how they should pronounce a specific word. Well, Also through the music, of course, because the music is a way in which they can easily develop a listening skill but enjoying activity or being dynamism the class. Okay. And well, of course, we use the brain and our ears, yes, to develop this skill. Well, now then pass to the writing one. The writing one is the ability in which we produce the information or knowledge, yes, but through symbols, because these symbols are obviously the letters, numbers, grammar, punctuation, and all those things that we express or we transmit through a paper and a pen, but obviously using our brain and our hands to write and to process that information. How we can develop this skill? Well, this skill we can develop through essays, through opinions, writing what do they students talk about in a specific topic, or maybe about yes, about likes, dislikes, reports, everything that they could transmit through a paper and a pen. Everything could be fine in order to develop this skill. And well, the last one, reading. Very good. Okay, so we use in this case for reading the brain and our eyes, because the eyes is like the first contact in which we can get all the information and we can process, yes, through observing. This is through the observation. It's important to mention that this ability involves understanding concepts. What does this mean? It's not just to look the information, it's to scan the information and try to create a meaning. Yes, try to create a concept and understanding about what I'm reading. And for, I think for our students, maybe it could be one of the most difficult one, because it's difficult for the most part of the people read. We don't have the custom. So we need to foster in our students to read maybe a biography, maybe a magazine, or maybe a newspaper or an internet, something that maybe can catch their attention. It's important to mention this because it's really difficult to foster this skill, but obviously with the practice and with encouragement, we can do it. Okay, well, in this case, that's all for me. Thank you so much for watch the video. I hope to that I was clear. It was a little bit difficult to explain because there are so much concepts. However, okay, it's part of. And well, teacher, let me answer also the questions that you ask us about it. Let me see. I'm looking for Edmodo homework. Let me just see. We have here 3 questions, right? The first one says, in your experience as a student, as a teacher, what is the most difficult skill to develop and to teach, and why? Okay, as a student, I think the most difficult skill for me, maybe I would say reading, because when sometimes teachers give us homework about reading, it's a little bit difficult for me to read and to really engage with that homework, because I don't like to read something that is forced or something that I don't feel like interested in. Yes, to be honest, I think maybe that would be the most difficult skill for me as a student. But as a teacher, I think the most difficult one, at least what I have been observing in the elementary school, is speaking, because it's like the last skill that all the students produce, because they feel afraid about how the other people is gonna be looking to them, or how they are gonna be feeling when they speak, and it's difficult for them to express their feelings and emotion, because they feel and they think that the whole world is gonna laugh about them. So I think as a teacher, I have noticed that is like the most difficult part. about the skills. I mean, develop skills in our students. And the second question says, oh, just wait a moment. Well, uh, says, to what extent do you consider one skill more important than the other one, and why? Okay. Well, I think I consider all the skills are important because one, I mean, all the skills are linked or connected ones to the others. So we cannot like avoid or take out a specific skill. But it's important to mention that when students are learning this new language, maybe the most important at the beginning is listening, because if they listen and they learn how to relate or how to connect listening with meaning, they are gonna be developing this sense of understanding the concepts that the teacher is trying to transmit to them. So I think it's important first listening, because in all the languages around the world, when you speak, it's because you first listen. Obviously, with the time, you try to say the things, you try to produce or articulate the sounds, but first listening. Yes, first you listen and then you speak. So I think I would say maybe the most important at the beginning would be listening skill. And what are the three reasons why it's important to teach language skills to students? Three reasons. Okay, to be honest, I didn't find a specific reason, or at least what I have been finding and researching. I didn't look for this specific information, but I consider it's important. Language. Okay. Sorry. What are the three reasons it's important to teach language? Well, I would say that it's important to teach these skills because it's gonna have makes for them. Yes, makes sense. Sorry for them. So, if we want to transmit in a realistic way all the knowledges, we need to foster it, but in a real context for them. Yeah, because it's gonna have sense for them. I think that is like the first reason. Second, because it is useful. All the skills in English are useful. Even if they want to speak another language, they need first to know how to develop a language. It doesn't matter if they want to speak maybe in the future another language, but English is like the base, and they should be conscious and aware how they can develop these skills, but first in English, right? Knowing the base. And I think also it's important because we can promote a good environment and a dynamic way to learn something new. Yes, through activities, through tasks, through games, playing, I don't know, applying real situation context, what I said before. And I consider that's why these are like the three principal reasons that students should know how to improve and how to yes, how to improve and how to get better, just the four skills. Well, teacher, to be honest, it was a really hard homework for me because it's not easy to manage all this information in a brief period of time, but I tried to do my best effort. I hope you can notice. And well, I think that's all for me now, and have a good day. Thank you.